Military services say they'll rely on global positioning system technology to fight the future fight. But the department may be leaving better technology that's less fragile on the table. Richard Mason is a senior engineer at the RAND Corporation. He's lead author of Analyzing a More Resilient National Positioning, Navigation, and Timing Capability. Richard, welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. What's the core of what you looked at in doing this study?
So this study was in support of the Department of Homeland Security. So this was not for DoD. It was explicitly not a military study. So it's a different. So the military has their own need for backup plans in the event of GPS disruption. But this project was about, does the civilian world need a backup? Should there be a backup system for all the rest of us in the event of a GPS outage? And so we were, in support of DHS, we were looking at this problem. And there's a very long history of this. I was going through the archives, and RAND did a study looking at backups to GPS in, I think, 1974 or 1975, about 3 years before the first GPS satellite was launched. So people have been worried about this for a long time. And there's if there's a way in which this study was a bit different from all the ones that preceded it, we tried to take a little bit more level-headed look at the risks, because there's this idea that because GPS is used in everything, which it is, that sort of civilization is hanging by a thread, and if the GPS signal is jammed, then everything will grind to a halt. And that's a little bit exaggerated because we do have existing backups. Airplanes have other navigational systems. Financial firms do have atomic clocks also to keep time, and so it's not, we're not quite as fragile as all that. And if we look at real world cases, so North Korea has jammed GPS in South Korea on a number of occasions. Russia has jammed GPS in Norway, and these things, it causes disruption. There's a cost to that, but it didn't cause the South Korean economy to tumble into the sea or anything. It was society reacted and got fought through, got by. So so backup systems exist, and we're continuing to develop new backup systems as 5G cell networks roll out, as the cell networks get better and better. That will be one kind of backup system for individual users with smartphones. And I think so. I think those kinds of efforts which they have another purpose. They accomplish something else. They make the overall system better. And by the way, they also provide resilience in case there is a GPS outage. That's a much better idea than building a new national system for the sole purpose of being a backup or replacement for GPS in the event of an outage, which really is not that likely. It's quite likely that there'll be a GPS outage it's easy to jam GPS in a small area for a short time, but it's really not very likely that you'd lose GPS over a large area for a long time.
It sounds like you've applied the basic principles of a risk management framework to all of the possibilities that exist here. Am I on the right track there, Richard?
Yeah, that's certainly what we tried to do, yes.
And what did you learn about the risk assessment that organizations like DHS are doing regarding GPS? Are there ways that they're thinking about it that maybe they could think about it differently? Did you find a different risk assessment of the various components, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I see as a point that we would like to stress is just that, people aren't really helpless. It's really when there's if there's a partial breakdown in the system, in this case because GPS, we assume the GPS signal is lost for a time. It's not the case that I can't get to work because I forgot the way the GPS in my car isn't working. That's not true. Yeah. So in doing the risk assessment, we should not assume that something will go wrong and everybody will sort of stand around helplessly and make no efforts to react or fix the problem. That's not real. So we have to, in the risk assessment, we have to account for the natural resilience of people and organizations.
We have less than a minute left, Richard. Is there other technology on the horizon that organizations and government should be thinking about or working toward?
Yeah, I mean, this will be no surprise to anybody, but I think as smartphones continue to get better and better, we'll see more and more location technology built into those, and that's something that's going to happen. So I do think that will be a development, in addition to the navigation ecosystem.
Richard Mason, thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.